Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of 3 Points with Carroll College Basketball. I'm back again with Coach Sayers. Coach, we're kind of in that in-between period between Christmas and the New Year's. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm excited to get going again. We had a short break, but obviously for coaches, a short break is always a long break. So we're looking forward to having one more game before we start conference and hopefully get some things rolling.
For sure, and then obviously we're going to look back at the past games first for our first point. As always, first things first, y'all took on Grace College here at home. It was a pretty exciting game, kind of came down to one last possession where they had the ball down 2 and they drove it at Jamie and she made a great play, made a block, got a rebound. But just how did you feel like your team did in that game, and especially down the end there, responded to some challenges and was able to pull out the win?
Well, it was our first game in about 14 days, and we looked a little bit like that. We're still not at full strength, so I'm excited to get everybody healthy and get everybody back in the lineup and the rotations the way we want to play. And so obviously this break has been good for us, but certainly good to get a win, especially at home against a good team, and so we'll definitely take it.
And then you got to go to Hawaii for 3 games. But before we get into the game specifically, just how was the overall trip with your team to Hawaii right in late December?
Well, it was a great experience. Obviously, it was a business trip. We had 3 games. It's a long travel out there. Obviously, you have the time change. You have, just a different climate and weather, and just getting used to some of the logistics. But it was a great experience to play 3 really good teams. It was, obviously we would have liked to come out of that thing 3-0, but definitely got better from the experience.
Yeah, and you talked about playing 3 really good teams. First things first, the first game was against Jamestown down there. You did get a victory in that one, I guess. What did you see from your team in that contest?
Well, that was a big game for us. Obviously, that was a team that, we ended up playing in the regional championship here. They returned 4 or 5 starters, so we knew it was going to be a tough battle. And obviously, they had a little bit of revenge on their mind as well, knowing that it was our team that kept them from getting to that final side at the national tournament. So I felt like we came out and battled hard. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well in those 3 games, but defensively we got stops when we needed to. And, we're seeing a lot of zones and a lot of presses and a lot of different things thrown at us, which definitely is preparing us for conference play and hopefully postseason.
And then after that, you took on a tough Indiana Tech squad, 25th in the country. Obviously, you played a lot of really good teams this year with, I think, you're top 10 in the Massey ratings for just strength of schedule this year with a lot of ranked teams and receiving votes teams now and when you played them too. But I guess in that game, and then obviously after the game, you also played Hawaii Pacific, a Division II team, counts as an exhibition. So 2 losses, both by 1 possession. So just out of those 2 games, I guess, what do you think you could take out of those 2 games with your team?
Well, I think just defensive discipline. We have to get better there, keeping people off the free throw line. We've got to get better on the boards. I think the biggest thing is all things are in our control. And I think offensively, we're still not clicking the way I think this team can. But I also think we've got we've had a lot of adversity. Whether it's different people in the lineup, different people out. Just haven't been fully healthy yet, and so I'm looking forward to us being able to compete at full power and see what this team can accomplish. But both games we had a chance to win in the end. We came out really strong in the Indiana Wesleyan game, start the game as well as we've started the game, really executed, and then just really didn't have a very good second quarter, and they made a game of it, and it came down to the final possession.
And then in both those 2 games, a player I want to ask you about, Maddie Garrett's led the team in scoring, and then was also second in scoring in the game against Grace. And she's someone like Jamie who chose to come back for a final year to play with this team, and also stepped into a kind of a senior leadership role. And down the stretch has also kind of given your team a lot on the offensive end. I guess just what have you seen from her this year, and I guess how excited are you to be able to have her in this final year?
Well, I think whenever you have kids that come back. There's a reason that they came back, and their motivation and determination to play and to win is an all-time high, because they know this is it. There's no redos, there's no second chances, and Maddie's been here for 6 years now, 1 as a redshirt and 4 as a player, and then to get her 5th or 6th year as a COVID year. And she's in a position to be on her 5th conference championship team, and something that some players never get to experience. She's been able to experience that. So the experience and the leadership that she brings are just so valuable to our group. And then obviously, I think in the past, she hasn't had to assume as much of a scoring role as she's assuming now. And with playing with Jamie, knowing that Jamie's going to get a lot of those double teams, she knows that she's the one that's going to have to step up and provide that scoring boost. And she's been able to do that for us in a lot of games, whether it's on the perimeter, it's in the paint, assisting to other scorers. I think she's improved her game on the offensive end, and it's something that we definitely needed to have 4 scorers around Jamie that you can't help off of, you can't double off of.
Yeah, and 5 conference championships in a row is pretty crazy if you start to think about that on paper. And that kind of brings us into point 2, is the upcoming games. We're almost in conference play, but first things first, you're going to play Milligan, a team out of Tennessee. They're 9-3 on the year, I believe, or 8-3 as we speak right now. Just what do you see out of them?
That every team we've played is going to provide some different challenges. This is a team that has beaten 2 teams receiving votes in the top 25. They're 9-3 coming into here. They play a different style of offense than we've really seen. It's more of a 5-out, a lot of cutting, a lot of flashing. They're really aggressive offensively, and so it's going to challenge us a little bit to be able to play against a different style, to be able to adjust to their style of play. And so, obviously, as you can see, I don't like to schedule teams that I know when we walk in we're going to win this game and it's going to be a cakewalk. I want teams that are going to come in here and challenge us and make us better and see what we're made of. And I think Milligan is that type of team. They've played a tough schedule, and they're going to come in here ready to go.
And then we're going to get into conference play after that. But just first things first, before we look at specifically, just you've been able to coach a lot of different teams and a lot of different versions of this conference, and obviously you haven't been able to play in it quite yet this year, but just by looking at other teams, and I know you've had some teams come in here and play, and you've been around some other teams and played similar opponents. Just how would you rate really the strength of the Frontier Conference this year?
Well, the strength of the conference is as good as it's ever been, and the last 4 or 5 years we've had the #1 conference in the country based on the amount of teams that get to the national tournament and the amount of wins that these teams get. And so, the battles every night are going to be big. And I think being a team that has won the last few conference championships, picked to win it again, we're going to get everybody's best effort. We're going to get everybody's best game, and we know that. We become everybody's rival. And so we have to be ready to step up to that challenge and be ready to give our best battle night in and night out. And, Rocky's had some good wins. Providence had some good wins. Tech beat Grace after we did. Western's had some big wins. And Northern's a team that I think is definitely improved from a year ago, and he's got a lot of new pieces. Chris is a great coach, but I think once we get into conference play, they're going to be clicking at a different level. It takes some time when you have new players learning new roles, a new program. It just takes those teams some time, and so I think you're going to see again another really, really good conference.
Yeah, and that will be exciting, and obviously exactly kind of where you want to be if every team kind of looks at you as the team to beat. It's exciting, and then we'll just hit at the first conference game y'all will play, and I'll be able to talk to you hopefully between now and then the second game. But we're going to play Providence in conference on the road. They're a top 25 team. They've played a lot of similar non-conference opponents, so a tough non-conference schedule. They played that same Indiana Wesleyan team. They also came down here and played Lewis and Clark in Southern Oregon, receiving votes, and the ranked team. So just you went into it a little bit, but what do you see from that team, and what are your expectations from that game?
Well, they have a great center. They've got a transfer point guard that is really helping them obviously, scores a lot, facilitates a lot. And then they have a great surrounding cast. Maddie Dixon, an all-conference player coming back. Regier that started last year, and Pipperton played significant minutes last year. So they have an experienced group. They have, I think they have a lot of talent. They've got a lot of size. They're one team that I think matches us size for size. So I just think we're a pretty good matchup. I think it's going to be a battle. It's not an easy place to shoot, but I think our players, there's quite a few of them on this team that remember an overtime loss at the buzzer at their place that cost us, which would have been our fifth straight conference championship. A loss down there that cost us that. I know that these guys remember that, and they're going to go in with an edge as well. And we have to understand that, one, we're going to get everybody's best game, everybody's best effort, but two, we can't go in trying to protect something we don't have. Last year was last year, and this year is a brand new year. We are not conference champions. That was last year, and so we need to go in there to go after something as well, because that's what we're going to get from every team we play. They're going to be coming after us.
Man, if I was in the locker room, I'd be pretty hyped hearing that coming in. I like that, but that would be super exciting. And then finally, into our third question, because you just flew on a plane, you have some great practice for this one. Let's say this is just a complete.
None of them are going to be the pilot. Do not ask me who's piloting that plane.
That's what we're getting to, actually, and that's the problem. So the pilot has maybe had a heart attack, and someone needs to land the plane. Doesn't need to fly it, but someone. And maybe multiple people, because you can't have two pilots, but whether it be they have the skills to actually maybe just successfully land the plane, but obviously like a fighter pilot, you kind of gotta be cool about it. You gotta be cool about it. Someone who can kind of handle the pressure. But so who on the Carroll College Saints basketball team is gonna land the plane?
Well, Maddie, she got her wings on our first flight. She actually, I think she might have convinced some people that she was part of the flight crew at some point. So I think Maddie would confidently think she could land the plane. I do think she would need maybe some strategical help. We do have some nurses and potential doctors on the team, so they could take care of the pilot and hopefully get him or her revived to land the plane. But Claire's an engineer. She might be helpful. Erica, she's really smart. She's good with numbers. She might be able to map out the destination. But I think maybe Willa, she's pretty calm and cool under pressure. If she's not trying to revive the pilot, I think she'd be able to help Maddie. We've got a lot of players that have been in some intense situations, some clutch situations that are pretty cool and calm under pressure. So, I would say a handful of them probably would assist. I think Maddie would definitely jump into the driver's seat, and she would be fully confident that she could do it, and maybe with some assistance from some of our other teammates, we could probably get that plane landed. I think we'd be all right.
For sure. Yeah, I believe you. And the nice part is now that we're in a conference play, you hopefully won't be on a plane and thinking about that scenario for quite a while.
True, very true.
Well, that's all I have for today, Coach. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you into the next year.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.